I'm Councillor Joanne Eastman. I'm here with Wayne Peterkin and David De Castro from Friends of the Gippsland Lakes. We're here to find out a bit more about the community group as part of our Volunteer Week program. So David and Wayne, thanks very much for meeting us. Can you tell us a bit about Foggle and the work you do?
Yeah, sure. Foggles, we're all volunteers for a start, obviously, and we're basically an advocacy group for the lakes, and we're more of a voice for the lakes, so obviously can't speak for themselves. So, and we believe the lakes are one of the most valuable assets to East Gippsland and should be protected and valued. So we work with the various other agencies that manage the lakes, Catchment Management Authority, Parks Victoria. We work with GLOWAC a little bit, and EPA, and so we're just trying to, be the voice for the citizen voice, if you like, for the lakes, and working with all those groups. And we do things like we try and get citizens involved in doing some water testing to finding out more about healthy lakes means.
Yeah.
And we showed you some of that today. What else we do? We do some submissions, don't we, David?
Yeah, we do a lot of research. We work, with agencies. If we identify problems, we try and resolve them. Yeah, with data-driven decision making, basically. So that's partly why we collect, water studies. We use a lot of remote sensing data and a lot of free data that is available. It's geographic data sets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand you've been doing a little bit of work with some of the primary schools and trying to get them more interested in the Water Watch program. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, probably the best place to.
Well, one primary school has expressed an interest. I mean, the Water Watch program used to be quite active. I think before COVID, but even before then it was dropping off a lot. I think we had like 100 sites around East Gippsland. Now we're down to less than 10. So, but the primary schools were quite active in doing in Water Watch testing, and also part of Water Watch is also collecting bugs, invertebrates, and looking at those, because another great way to assess the health of the water is to assess the health of certain bugs that are in the water, right?
Yep.
Or how many there are. So they came down and they watched us, and it was quite good actually.
So David, I understand the Water Watch can be quite an expensive program, like costs a bit to do each test.
Yes, and the consumables, the special chemicals you used for certain tests can cost up to $10 per test. So that limits the amount of testing that we can do. Fortunately, CMA does sponsor Foggles Water Quality Testing Program, and Landcare also supported us with grants and so forth to buy equipment and keep expanding, because there's been quite a bit of interest, but we certainly need more volunteers. There's a lot of sites that are inactive that we would love to be collecting data.
Okay, so what sort of things do you test for with Water Watch?
The basic parameters are things like pH, salinity levels. You can test for dissolved oxygen, but also nutrients, so phosphates and nitrogen are two of the big ones, and also the turbidity, so how clear the water is.
Okay. And I understand you've done some work with the Marine Mammal Foundation. Can you tell us a bit about what you've found out about the Bowen dolphins and their health?
Yeah, we were pretty sort of alarmed to hear about the relatively major decline in the population recently, and we approached the Marine Mammal Foundation and put on a joint event together with managed to raise quite a few $1,000 for them and educate. A lot of people got informed, and they'd lost their funding, unfortunately, so they're really dependent now on the goodwill of the community to keep their important work going.
Right. And You've been able to influence some of the other agencies to do a little bit more testing, I understand. Can you tell us a bit about how you've been working with the EPA to...
So yeah, look, Foggle sits on the consultative community group, and at those meetings we've been very interested in seeing some more heavy metal testing again, because heavy metals have been a problem in the dolphins, same with PFAS, and to their credit, they've just recently been undertaking heavy metal, microplastics and PFAS testing in dusky flatheads and bream as part of their aquatic biota monitoring program. So,
and they invited us to come and observe it, didn't they?
Yeah,
and we put some photos on our Facebook site.
yeah.
So what makes dolphins so vulnerable to heavy metals and PFAS and other pollutants?
Top of the food chain. So they basically eat everything else that bioaccumulates the toxins. So by the time they've eating their diet is quite high in those toxins.
If people wanted to get involved in Foggle, how would they go about doing it?
Probably the website.
Just go to our website, fogl.org.au.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of information there, and there's a page on there about how they can become a member. But there's also an email there. They can, if they want to find out more, they can just email us and inquire. Yeah.
And if they're just interested in finding out a little bit more, I understand you've got a fairly good Facebook site, fairly active Facebook site.
Yeah, so you manage that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit on there, but there's a lot of past submissions and a lot of information on the website as well if they dive into it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Look, thank you so much for meeting us. The work that you do is really important for all of the Gippsland community. We've got, more than 20,000 people live in the communities around the lakes. So many people who fish and boat and enjoy water sports around here. Plus, we get more than 1 million visitors who spend more than $300 million a year here. So it's incredibly important, this type of work you do. So, yeah, thank you very much, and all the best with it in the future.